Hello, and you're very welcome to this Game Pit Stop for Paris, la Cite de la Lumiere from Jose Antonion Abascal and Devir Games. It is a two-player 30-minute game, which is split into two separate phases. In the first phase, the players have got two options. They may take a tile from their stack and add it somewhere to the board, and they are looking to create contiguous areas off their own colours and blocking off the continuous areas off the other player. Now, instead of taking one of their tiles and continuing to do this, what they can do is decide to reserve one of these polyomino buildings from the top of the board and place it down into their own reserve. Now, they're going to have to do this at some point because any tiles that they didn't reserve are not going to be available to them. And it is by placing these tiles onto the board that you're going to be able to score some points. They will continue onwards and upwards, just so, adding areas of different colours. Now you can see that the player colours are orange and blue. The other thing that you might not notice is that there are purple ones on there, and when it comes to purple ones, they are going to be available to play for both players on when we get into the second phase. Now we continue like this until both players have played all of their building tiles rather. If one player runs out of building tiles before the other player does, then on their turn they simply get to reserve another building into their hand off building tiles until both players have put them down and they have formed the board which they're about to play on. So once this is done, we're going to move on to the second phase, and again the players have got two options. The first thing they can do is take one of the tiles that they reserved previously and put it into play somewhere on the board. Now when they're putting a tile into play on the board, the thing they have to consider is it has to cover tiles of their own colour or purple tiles. So in this case, the orange player could take this building from their reserve, put it into play like that, and that's now going to score them some points. And what they're looking to do is get it adjacent to street lights, because the size of the building is going to multiply by how many street lights it is adjacent to. And how do we know that's an orange player's building? We put a little orange chimney on there. Similarly, the blue player is going to look to exploit areas that they have created in order to put them next to streetlights like that, and they'll be marking them with their blue chimneys. And the board will fill up with the various different pieces, again always looking to get them adjacent to streetlights, otherwise they're not going to score any points for the owning player. However, there's another thing they can do on their turn. Rather than just playing out buildings in order for points, they can activate one of these 8 action postcards. Now there are 12 in the game, this is just the suggested first setup. When you wish to activate a postcard, you take one of your 4 action markers, so they're definitely going to get 4 each, and you put it into play onto the postcard, then you take the effect off it. For example, this one allows you to put an annex in play. It has to go onto a building you've already got and you control, and in this case we're putting the annex in. I'll put myself adjacent to another streetlight. I will then flip this over to say that I have used that postcard as the blue player. Down here, the Metropolitan is going to allow you to put in a building to cover a streetlight, which might help you stop another player from scoring points for streetlights. Levitation will allow you to swap one of the tiles you've already taken for another tile that's currently in reserve, because these reserve tiles that weren't taken cannot be played during this phase. With the Lampadaire, you can put this into play onto a tile of your own colour, hopefully adjacent to one of your buildings. If we put that there, it'll score both of us, but never mind. So that will increase the scoring. The painter here, you put it into play again onto an area of your own colour, and that's going to score at the end for all the street lamps which are within the area bordered by the edge of the box and also by buildings that the painter is in. The Jardin, that counts as an extra building of your colour, so you simply put it into play. And with the purple one, you put it onto a tile off the other player's colour, and then immediately you cover it over with a building, so you simply take that off again. So that allows you to steal one square from another player, and again as you use these will all flip over onto their artwork side. The last one up there is Sacre-Cœur. I said you can swap across and you can't use these. However, any buildings that you've reserved in the first phase but haven't used are going to cost you 3 points unless you've activated Sacre-Cœur, in which case ones left over are going to be 0. Once all the players have played all their buildings and used all of their action tiles, we're then going to score our points. So like I said, you're going to multiply the size of the building, in this case a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 building, by the 4 streetlights that it's touching, and that will score 20 points for the blue player. This one down here is just 4 times 1, 4 points. Similarly, 5 times 3 here for the orange player. This building is worth 15 points to them, although hopefully the board will be a little bit more full than this. You're also going to score points equal to your largest series of buildings. So if the blue player managed to do this, they're going to get 1 point for every space in that building chain. Unfortunately, orange is again running behind on that one. You'll lose points for those unbuilt buildings, and some of the more advanced cards are going to allow you to score points for doing certain things. For example, they'll all have a stamp on them, like this one here. That's the painter that I said will score you points for street lamps left in the area that's bordered by buildings. You add all those points together, and whoever has scored the most points in that fashion will be the winner of Paris, la Cité de la Lumière. This has been a Game Pit Stop. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel. For more in-depth coverage of gaming, please check out the Game Pit podcast. Thank you.